In recent days, a coordinated effort to blockade our streets, our motorways, our fuel depots and ports has been implemented by groups with a self-declared mandate. They have explicitly rejected the right of democratic representative groups to speak for them and have gone well beyond simply expressing their point. As we said consistently during the week, nobody has a right to blockade our country. In this free democracy, there are many ways to make your point publicly, and our streets are regularly full of people exercising their rights. But no self-appointed group has a right to prevent emergency services from operating normally, or delaying people going for cancer treatment, or to threaten the jobs and livelihoods of others. Nobody has a right to intimidate drivers attempting to distribute fuel, or to talk about having control of the country and government. No one should deny the fundamental right of freedom of mobility of people, goods and services. The targeting of our ports and depots represented a direct threat to basic supplies and, if left unaddressed, would have impacted on every business and job in the country. The targeting of Whitegate in particular was very serious. It was an imminent danger of seeing oil intended for Ireland being resold and redirected to other countries, and of refining being paused at Whitegate, which would have been extremely serious in terms of continuity of supply of finished product to the country. Higher fuel scarcity and higher fuel prices would actually have been the inevitable outcome of these blockades. The right to protest is important and critical, but it cannot operate with no limits and without any consideration of its impact on wider society and economy. It should never undermine the fundamental human rights of others. I want to thank the Gardaí and the Defence Forces for the professionalism of their actions over the last few days. At all stages, steps were taken to minimise conflict and to respect the right of people to make their point. We've continued our programme of engagement with stakeholders and have been examining different ways of helping those worst impacted by this sudden increase in fuel prices. As a result of this, we have today agreed to further mitigate the impact on households and businesses enduring energy price shock arising from the conflict in the Middle East. Government is now extending the temporary measures to reduce excise duty on petrol, diesel and marked gas oil from the end of May to the end of July. Further reducing mineral oil taxes, the Government is by 10 cents per litre on petrol, 10 cents per litre on diesel and 2.4 cents per litre on marked gas oil. Postponing the increase in carbon tax from May until the budget in October. Enhancing the transport support schemes for all haulage operators in the country, for local link and school transport providers and some commercial operators. Introducing a fuel subsidy support scheme for farming and fisheries. The Government recognises and understands the pressures that have arisen due to rising fuel costs as a result of war in Ukraine and in the Middle East on all families and businesses. I'm very conscious of the fact that we have to ensure that we support people, protect key services and make critical investments. The package we have agreed today is a significant response to real pressures being felt here and globally. As we've seen during the week, the resolution of this conflict could lead to relatively rapid and significant falls in oil prices. In the meantime, we will implement these extra important temporary measures which will directly help people impacted by this unprecedented global crisis in energy supply resulting from the war in the Middle East.
We're living through an unprecedented global energy crisis. We know the pain, we know the stress, and we know the very real financial pressure that so many across our country are feeling as a result of this. As a government, we hear you, we have acted, and we're taking further action today. Our initial response was a package of measures that tried to help at the pump, tried to assist the most vulnerable to heat their homes, and was designed to support key supply chains. We were clear when we announced these measures that we would keep some economic powder dry and that everything would remain under review. We were clear that we would have further engagement with key sectors in our economy. We ruled nothing out, and we noted at the time the need for continued agility, conscious of the enormous global instability that is ongoing. That is why today, as a government, we have taken the decisions to extend the temporary reductions introduced on the 25th of March and due to expire on the 31st of May until the end of July. It's why we've also decided to have ongoing engagement with the European Commission, and in doing so to introduce a further 10-cent reduction in excise duty on petrol and on diesel, and the further 2.4-cent reduction on marked gas oil or green diesel, effective from midnight on Tuesday, subject to Oireachtas approval. These are in addition to the further targeted measures that the Taoiseach has referenced for the agri-food and haulage sector, details of which will be further announced by the relevant line ministers. Today we've also taken a decision at Cabinet to defer the increases in carbon tax scheduled to take effect on the 1st of May until Budget Day. I believe the measures that we're taking on the round makes up an appropriate package to try and ensure that everyone who's feeling under pressure right now is given some form of relief. I did say we would work together on a significant and substantial package. This is why we run an economy that builds up fiscal buffers, and it is why we run an economy with a government surplus. We've taken these measures as a government following extensive engagement with those nationally representative, democratically run organisations, those we've engaged with for many years. This form of engagement has served us well as a country during the main crises of the past decade: Brexit, COVID and the war in Ukraine. If these crises taught us anything, it's that when we come together as a country and engage with key stakeholders in our society and our economy, when we work collaboratively, when we confront calmly and collectively the challenges before us in an increasingly unstable and volatile world, we can make progress. That is the very essence of the parliamentary democracy in which we live. We will always engage in good faith with civil groups and elected representatives. But we cannot be expected to reasonably or rationally engage with self-appointed spokespeople, unelected bodies, and those who would instigate an illegal blockade of some of this country's most critical infrastructure at a time of a global energy crisis. Let me re-emphasise, nobody in Ireland has the right to obstruct the free movement of people. Nobody has the right to dictate who gets free passage and who does not. These are not issues that are up for negotiation or for bargaining. Some of what we've seen in recent days has been extremely concerning, and it's been profoundly damaging on ordinary people right up and down this country, including the most vulnerable, trying to go about their lives. It has caused significant harm and significant challenge. And I too want to thank An Garda Síochána for the work that they've done to end the illegal blockades and to restore law and order to the streets of this country. They've done so in a gradual and respectful way, and I commend them for their efforts. Finally, I want to be clear that while the measures we're announcing this evening will provide a further and important level of support to people, there is no government that can shield its people entirely from the full impact of the ongoing war. The longer war continues, the greater the challenge on inflation and economic growth and on households. Events internationally, even in the last few hours, underscore the challenges that lie ahead. I know the last few weeks and months have taken their toll. People are stressed, they're concerned, they're worried. But we are at our best as a country when we pull together. And I hope that the decisions we've taken today demonstrate that if we work collaboratively, we can make the right interventions at the right time to help people right across this country and ensure we protect the Irish economy and secure its future in these turbulent times.